Hello, everyone. Welcome to the broadcast for this Sunday, December 1st. I hope you're doing fantastic today and have had a great past week, Thanksgiving week. How are y'all doing today? I would like to say hello to, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but I'll just call you Zoo for short. Zoo, Star, and Ryan. How you all doing today? Hopefully you're doing fantastic. It is quite a cold day. So I have my warm tea to keep my hands warm. Let's get the lighting a little fixed here. A little bit brighter. Brighter? There we go. Kind of. It went back. Anyway, how's everyone doing today? Did everyone have a nice past week in Thanksgiving? I sure hope that you did. And also, happy December from me and the rats. That's right. That's right. No, boys, not on camera unless you're recording on only feet. Okay. They would just sit here in the meantime. But yeah, Zoo, great to have you back to the live stream. It's been a while. Yeah, I'm not sure how long it's been, but congratulations that you have come back and welcome back. Great to see you. Star Helix, thank you for the membership. Yeah, you got gifted a gift membership last time. The one time that you're not here, you end up getting it. So there you go. That's interesting. I wish it would prioritize people who are actually in the chat, who are here at the live stream to get the membership, but I don't know what list it pulls from, but yeah. Okay. Let's see. Zeus says, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving weekend, or if you don't celebrate it, then I hope you had a good weekend instead. My weekend was all right, I would say. Nothing too crazy for the most part. Pretty normal, I would say. Nothing too out there. Yeah, normally we celebrate a Thanksgiving, but there were a few things that are a little different, so we didn't have it the same way. Yeah, now here's an interesting thing. So for me, I'm perfectly fine with that because it's like, if I'm talking about like from like a food standpoint, I don't like Thanksgiving food. I just don't. I just don't. I haven't eaten any like Thanksgiving food in many years, probably like six years or so. And that was like 6 years ago, if not longer. I was like making like my own like Thanksgiving version of stuff. And now I don't even do that. For the most part, I usually just make what I normally would eat, which would be either some sort of like Indian food or like some sort of Asian food. So that's usually what I end up eating, and that's exactly what I had. So yeah, that's basically it. Funny stuff, right? Funny stuff. It's like, oh, Thanksgiving, and you're eating like Indian curry and everything. It's like, yep. So, it's just funny. It just is. Let me see if I can hide the microphone behind my hair. I should clip it to my hair. See, look, if I could get really close, it would sound so much clearer and so much better. But can't have it this close. Maybe I'll put it like that, like there. It'd be a little better. Try to hide the wire the best I can. I would use my other microphone that can sit on the desk, but because I have these fat rats here and my tea, there would be no place for it. Like, it would have to sit right where my tea is. So it's kind of like, this is a little bit better because it can follow me wherever I go. I don't have to be like right up on it. And I don't have one of those like microphone stands that could like come down. Otherwise, I could just do that as well. So, oh well, it is what it is. Anyway, Ryan, greetings, nondescript citizens. Greetings. Hopefully you have had a fantastic past week. Perfect timing. I appear only a mere few seconds before I pop on. Indeed, you do. Perfect timing indeed. Great to have you here. Let's see, we had a Friendsgiving last night. It was perfect. Good friends, good food. That's excellent to hear. That really is. That's absolutely amazing. Yeah, you know, this is something like we should all be kind of very mindful and just thankful for, like, every day, whether you have family that you're close to or like friends or whatever else, you know, just being able to have some sort of closeness with other people. And I think this can be a very, very bad year for some people as well, because there are a lot of people who they don't get along with their family. They may have lost a lot of friends. They may have be very distant from people. So I think usually around this time of year, holidays for people in general tends to be quite stressful if they don't really have family and friends. But if they do, there could be a lot of chaos and commotion and disagreements within there. Like one of the big things when it comes to like this specific, you know, Thanksgiving, or just, you know, every few years here and there, there's just this massive political divide where it's just can't go. It's like, I'm not going to attend your Thanksgiving because you believe in this and I don't believe in that. It's like, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. And it's such a shame. It really is. It really is such a shame. But I don't know why people just can't get along. There we go. That makes it brighter when I lean it down a little bit so you can see the rats a little better. Does everyone like the rats today? Do they look like they have Thanksgiving spirit to you? Hopefully they do. That's right, boys. Thanksgiving spirit is here. Although, what did you boys do for Thanksgiving? Ladies, we did the same thing that we always do, which is sniff our feet and each other's feet. Did you? Boy? You heard him. He did the same stuff he always does. Look how cute. So he likes when my nails are like this, because it gives him a nice little like head massage. I'm gonna need to cut them soon. They're getting too long. When they get this long like this, they just like break and like, you know, they have problems. Especially when I try to open up pistachios. Can you imagine trying to open up pistachios with this? You get your nails all bent back. I don't know. I don't know who's in the audience, if it's all men or if it's mostly women here, or what. I'd say it's probably, I don't know. If it's mostly men here, then like, no, we don't have long nails. Sorry. That's a later loser thing. Yeah, I just don't like when they break and chip and everything. So that's a little bit of a problem. You know, a little bit of a problem. Okay, let's say. Oh, you got a membership too. When the heck was I when that happened? Ryan, you were actually, that was last week. That was last week. You were here for a little bit of it, and then at the end, I guess Deathbank kidnapped you, and then you vanished, and then I guess that's when it happened. But yeah, it was last week. We always do it at the closing time of the, I almost called it a ceremony. A ceremony. What sort of ceremony are we having here? I don't know. I don't know, but my hands are extremely dry. You know, with this really cold weather, everything is very dry. Everything is very chapped. So I'm gonna need to use some shea butter moisturizer. This is the only moisturizer that I use, especially on my lips. I cannot use anything else on my lips because my lips get destroyed by everything. Oh, darn it. Oh well. Come on, you stupid. There you go. Okay. Now the thing is, after I moisturize my hands, I cannot touch the mice. I cannot touch the mice. Boys, you're gonna need to move. You're gonna need to move along the side here, because I don't want to get you all greasy. There you go. They can just look there. Anyway. So, yeah, we'll be talking about our topic in just a moment here. We'll be talking about psychological manipulation. The types of tactics people use to manipulate you into doing something. So, this is just kind of an off-the-wall type of topic that I was just kind of thinking about. Because we didn't have any post or a video that I wrote, at least, this past Friday. But there was a community post, but we're not talking about that. No, we're not. Let's see. We had homemade cranberry salsa. It was so good. Cranberry salsa, you say? That does sound interesting. I guess it was like a sweet salsa. Was there any like spice to it? What did you eat it with? I guess just like chips, right? You know, there was this brand of salsa that I really liked, and I think they're out of business now. Like, you can't find it. It was called Jardine's. They had a bunch of really interesting salsas, and one of my favorite was this ghost pepper pumpkin salsa. So it had the spice, not really of that of like a ghost pepper, but it was spicy, and it had like a nice like sweet like pumpkin-y flavor. It was like, that was so good. But you can only get it around, like autumn. So, yeah, unfortunately they're out of business, much like a lot of other companies and restaurants and things that I really enjoyed. It's a shame. It's a shame. All went under. All went under. Yeah. Now I gotta be very careful as well. I don't want to touch my hair for a while as well. What I can do, get the gloves on. This is an interesting look, isn't it? It's an interesting look. Can't touch my hair. There you go. I can kind of touch it now. You just go like this. Anyway. It was nice. No politics were discussed. No arguments and no debates. See, that is how it should be. Because it's like, even if all of your friends agree 100%, you don't necessarily need to bring the conversation up, in a friendly environment. It's like everything has to be like so political and divisive these days. It doesn't have to be like that. You just have to put your differences aside and just get along. That is what this time of year should remind us of. To be thankful for the things that we have and to not get into all these ridiculous arguments, So, it is what it is. Okay. Let's say December 1st, which means this is the last month of the year, 2024. As we approach into 2025, did you have a great year, 2024, so far? Yes, I would say, what was it? This year has probably been one of the best years, I would say, for me personally. There was, some ups and downs here and there or whatever. But, that's just on par. But compared to, I don't remember if last year was the bad year, or maybe it was 2022, maybe. I don't remember. There was I think it was probably 2022. There was a year that I was just, there were like health problems and there were some other issues, and it could have been a little bit of last year as well. It kind of extended into last year, but this year has been, for the most part, very, very good. So 2025, I think, is going to be even better. And you always have to remain optimistic. So that is what I like to do. I like to remain optimistic, even if there's a lot of chaos and craziness going on in the world. It's very good to be optimistic, but also to be prepared for whatever may happen. Because you never know what is going to happen. It could be something very, very bad that maybe you were not prepared for. So you have to be prepared for those things. So, yep. This year has been a lot of learning opportunities for me. A lot of things that have helped me grow. So, just a variety of different things, so, yeah. Let's see. I didn't do much. I just stayed home and ate some turkey stuffing, potato salad, rice, and pigeon peas, soda, and many more. Oh, okay. Personally, for me, none of that sounds appetizing because that's not my type of food for the most part. Probably the thing that sounds the best there is the rice. That's it. Just the rice, and maybe some of the peas as well, but nothing else really interests me. Yeah. As I said, I really I haven't eaten like the traditional Thanksgiving type food in like a very long time. It's like, I do like pumpkin pie though. Pumpkin pie is very, very good. Pumpkin pie and sweet potato pie, which basically taste about the same. Those are very, very good, I must say. But besides that, it's like I can pass on pretty much everything else. Turkey, no. Stuffing, no. Mashed potatoes, eh. I like mashed potatoes for very specific things usually, but not for like with that other stuff. Um, I think one time, okay, so one time for Thanksgiving, I made this. It was a cauliflower mac and cheese. That was like for like the family, but it was just like me and my friend who ate it. So it was very, very good. Good though. It really, really was. Like it's you instead of like noodles, you use cauliflower as the base, and you have like the cheese and everything, and it tastes very, very good. It's basically like a ketogenic version of mac and cheese. So yeah, you can just fill up on that and not have all the carbs from the mac and cheese, and it is very, very good. It is very, very good. So yeah, let's say. The cranberry sauce so it was a bit tart, a little bit spicy. We served it over cream cheese and crackers. Okay, well that's actually very fitting. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And sweet potato pie. Yeah, there you go, sweet potato pie. Going within minutes. Yeah. Now, I'm curious to know if anyone has ever made any I guess you really can't call it. So I need to make it again. It was very, very good when I made it. It was a lower sugar apple pie that I made. Basically, if you're making an apple pie and pumpkin pie are my two favorite pies. If that's all that I had, that would be fine. I don't care about any other pie. I don't really eat pies though. I really don't. Let's be honest here. I really don't. I don't really eat sweets. Sweets are really not my thing for the most part. But apple pie, the one that I made was very good, and it had less sugar because normally you have apples, and you usually use Granny Smith apples, which are quite tart, and then you usually add sugar to that, a bunch of sugar to that. It makes it even like add a bunch more sugar on top of the natural sugar inside of the Granny Smith apples. So I just used a sugar substitute, which was no actual sugar, and it was actually very, very good. So, and it didn't have all that extra sugar like you would have with this traditional pumpkin pie. So, yeah, that was very, very good. Hmm. So, I should make that again. I've just kind of been wanting to do that, but you can also make like keto versions of like a pumpkin pie. I saw a recipe for that, but it's like, I'll be honest, I love to cook. I do not like to bake. I don't. So, baking anything, all that sort of stuff, not a fan of it. I'm not a fan. And I think primarily because when you're baking things, the measurements have to be more exact. I'm the type of person, it's like if you just give me a general idea of what you want in a food, I'll just throw it all together and just I won't measure anything. It's like, okay, if I'm making some sort of actual food item, I'm just going to throw a bunch of stuff together. It's like, oh, seasoning, a teaspoon of seasoning, and I'm just going to dump whatever I want in. And it always turns out very, very good. It's extremely rare that I actually make something that isn't like the greatest. It's like usually it's like pretty good for the most part. Some things here and there is kind of like but yeah. I make all sorts of foods. I really do. Really do. And I get more creative with some of the foods that I make. Some of the things here and there, it's like I just alter the recipe a little bit and it makes it like even better. It's like, okay, okay. First, very specific things, you do need to be exact. Like my world famous cucumber salad, it's like I found the right proportions of all the ingredients that you have to use to make it like the best. I should make some more cucumber salad again. I should have picked up a cucumber at the grocery store to make that because the cucumber salad is very, very good. It really is. Yeah, you just get cucumber and onion and all that sort of stuff, and it's like, That's really the only salads that I like these days. I don't like all the other salads anymore. It's like I'm just out of salads. Hmm. Let's say we had campfire baked apples. Instead of sugar, we use honey or maple syrup. There you go. That's a bit more of a natural way. I mean, it's still additional added sugar to it, but it is certainly better than than the like cane sugar and that sort of stuff. You thought women kept cucumbers in stock? Oh, okay. Yeah, not me. Cucumbers, I I like the English cucumber. The ones that are wrapped in plastic at the grocery store, those are thinner. That's what you have to use to make the cucumber salad. You cannot use a regular cucumber because the skin is too hard. It's not as good. You want the English cucumber where you can cut it nice and thin, and then you just, gosh, very, very good. Anyway, we're not talking about cucumber salad now. We're not. But I do need to pick up on next time I go, maybe. Make my cucumber salad. So why don't we dive on into our topic for a little bit here now? We're about, 28 minutes in here. But yeah, we can talk a little bit about it. We're just kind of recapping Thanksgiving. As you know, this is just a casual conversation. Nothing is ever strict. But I guess when it comes to the topic at hand, psychological manipulation, this can take on many, many different forms. And this is actually a key component of people who are sales representatives as well. People who try to sell you something. They're trying to sell you something, so they play on the type of manipulation that they know to make you buy something or to make you interested in something. There was someone who would, what was it? Yeah, we were just talking about some of these like sales tactics that people use in order to convince someone of something. Usually, a lot of times, what they would do is that they will try to make you feel as though you need this item. Here's the item that you need. However, it's on sale right now. Here's the major price way up here, and then here's the discounted price. And there's only a few left in stock, so you better hurry up and act now. Your chances are running low. So all of this creates a sense of urgency. And in our mind, it plays on the fear of missing out. That's the type of psychological manipulation a lot of salespeople use in order to manipulate people into purchasing something. It's a very clever tactic, but it is also very manipulative. So that's one of the things that a lot of us really can fall for, especially if the sales representative is very nice and they really play on our insecurities or even our fears of missing out on something. It's like, okay, don't be missing out on this. And it's very hard to say to such a nice person, no. However, a lot of times people end up falling for it. I've ended up falling for certain things here. They're not necessarily buying something, but maybe like joining something or being part of something. It's like, maybe I shouldn't have agreed to that. It's like now thinking about it, I realize, okay, this was a manipulative tactic that this person used in order to get me to do something. And now that I have agreed to it, I feel like as though I'm obligated to. But now that I'm thinking back on it, I'm like, this was not the right thing to do. I should not have agreed to this. I should not have done this. I should have thought it through a little bit more. However, they were very convincing. They told me that everything was going to be fine, or like things would be better, or just, created this sense of urgency. So that's a very major problem for a lot of people, that they end up falling victim to a lot of these sales tactics. Another big thing, I guess, when it comes to sales, this is something that has just come to my mind as well when it comes to the multi-level marketing schemes. All of these things are, such a they are such the most deceptive tactics imaginable. I have met, people who are involved with this and they try to get me to join. And I'm like, no, I can clearly say no to those because I know how big of a scam that it is. Because basically what they do a lot of times is going to be people who you have someone that you know personally, someone that you know and you trust. So you believe that the things that they want to sell you are going to be of good quality, that they are a trusting individual, that they can be trusted with the information that they're giving you. And they want to not just sell you the product, they want to sell you the ability to sell the product yourself. So they make it look all great and amazing because they could be pretty good salespeople themselves, but then you buy a bunch of stock thinking, I'm going to sell all this stuff and make a lot of money and all this sort of stuff. And then you realize, I can't sell it. I can't sell it. I'm not as good of a salesperson as this individual is. Their type of manipulative tactics of somehow they got me involved in this. So that's the type of manipulation that people can use, and it is a it's a very, very tricky thing to navigate because especially if you have someone that you know well, that you trust, and they're trying to sell you something, it's very hard to say no to them. It's very hard to put your foot down and disagree with what they have to say until you realize that a lot of what they've been saying is wrong. And especially when it comes to the multi-level marketing thing, it's like no one's really going to make money with that. It's very, 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 very minor. In addition, like that would be basically your full-time job. That would occupy a lot of your time. So it's just, it's not for me. I think for most people, they realize that that's not the proper thing. But the problem is that a lot of people get roped up into it because they think it's an easy way. These salespeople will prey on people who perhaps need the money. So they're preying on it. You want a quick way to make some money? Try this. I'll sell you this and that. And just look at all these amazing things we can do with this money. It's just you can sell so much. But then the reality sets in and you're not able to. And then you're out of a bunch of money. And then you have this whole stockpile of stuff that nobody wants. Nobody wants that crap. So that's why I try to avoid those sort of things. So that's the type of psychological manipulation from a marketing standpoint. Has anyone else run into people like that? Do you have any family or friends that have been involved, or you as well, been involved in any sort of multi-level marketing schemes? Have you gotten roped up into that sort of stuff? Have you been tricked by salespeople? Have you had your mind read almost? It seems as though they're just reading your mind and picking it apart and preying on some of your insecurities to try to sell you something. Has that happened to any of you here? And if anyone says no, then I know that you're not telling the truth, because everyone has to some degree. Everyone has to some degree encountered people like that. So that's a unanimous yes. Everyone has encountered it. Hmm. So yeah, it's just a horrible thing. It really is. Now I don't remember specifically I think the types of people that I've met who have been involved in this multi-level marketing thing. I think the one person, like, they would like something about like making websites to sell supplements or something. I think that was one of the people. So they would like, the higher ups would make you a website. You would sell supplements. You could sell supplements to people, and it's like, okay. Now, apparently that was a little bit different than some of these multi-level marketing things where it's like you don't have product on hand, you have a website that people go to and order. And it's like, why do you need like 1,000 different websites for just one company under all this, umbrella? It's like, that doesn't make any sort of sense to me. It's like, that's just such shady business practice. It's like any company that I know that's operating on that type of scheme, I just would not trust at all, because it's like you are selling your product to all these other companies, but they're not really other companies. They're just different versions of you, and you're just selling it. It's like Now that is different from a company that has a white label. So if anyone is familiar with a white label on a product, it's basically just a product that a company makes without their branding or label, and then you're able to put your branding and label on that. So, for example, if I were to sell, you know, CBD, for example, I could get it from, my main source that I get from. I could order from them white label and have my own label printed on it, so that I could sell it to you for a little higher price, but it comes from them. It comes from them. They're the ones making it and supplying it. I'm just selling it to you as a slightly higher value, and it's coming from a more trusted person because you would know me. It's like, okay, why would I trust so and so's CBD products that I don't even know when I could trust Autumn Asphodel's Get High All Night CBD? You know what I mean? So, so it's like, actually, that would have the opposite effect. CBD is not going to get you high at all. It's just going to make you go to sleep. Go to sleep all night. So, so that is a little different. I mean, I guess that can be a little bit shady as well, but that's a type of business practice that is used. So it's interesting. It's interesting. Okay. So that was from just the business and sales point of view. I will talk in a minute here about actual people in your life that are manipulating you for their own personal benefit. That goes beyond just like sales, So let's see. Ryan says, I deal with psychological manipulation a lot in my field. People will show photos that are pre-adolian. They'll try to strong arm you into believing that there are things there. Okay. They'll tell you you're not gifted enough. You lack in knowledge. If you try to point out logic, which is usually the truth. Yeah, it's interesting. That's the type of viewpoint that people have, that they can be they're stuck in this mindset that only they are right and everyone else is wrong with their viewpoint. So with this type of mindset and thinking, it is a major problem because they think that they can push their way of belief upon you, and you will just accept it as true because they are the ones that have all the knowledge and all the power, and you're just some mindless little idiot over here who doesn't know what to do, who has to follow a leader. That's how a lot of people who do this type of manipulation feel about other people, that they are better than everyone else, so they try to manipulate them and control the way that they think and behave. Now, this is a major problem as well because a lot of these types of people will want something from someone. So that's extended to more like personal relationships. It's very common for you to have a partner or a family member, if it's like your own mother or father, who are manipulating you or gaslighting you. That's a type of psychological manipulation, gaslighting. Gaslighting is essentially making you doubt what your own beliefs are. So if you know something happened, as a matter of fact, that perhaps someone did something to you, or this person did something, and they'll say, no, they're not doing that. Aren't you confusing it with this or that? Just trying to steer you in a different direction to make you doubt your own credibility. It's like, did that really happen the way that I'm thinking it did? He's like, no, it didn't happen the way that you think that it did. It happened in a very different way. You're just remembering it wrong. You're remembering it wrong. That's the type of gaslighting that you may have from family members, especially parents. There's plenty of people that I've talked with who have this type of dynamic with their family, that their parents are these types of manipulators, and they gaslight in order for their own personal benefit, to protect themselves, essentially. Because how else is a very bad mother or father going to protect themselves than it is to gaslight and say, it's like, hey, you did this and that to me. You hurt me in so many ways. Oh, are you remembering that correctly? I didn't do those things. It was so and so else. You're remembering it wrong. I'm the good person here. That person's the bad person. So that's the type of dynamic for. Usually it's going to be very narcissistic people who do that sort of action, where they will manipulate. They're very, very good at psychological manipulation. Those are the types of people who could be very good at sales as well. It's the type of manipulation that they use on the mind because they understand how to manipulate people. They're a step ahead of people. So things along those lines can be a major problem if you have family and friends that are gaslighting you and manipulating you. But let's talk a little bit about the types of dynamics in just relationships, romantic relationships, or even probably less so in friendships, but it certainly still happens. So if you're a romantic relationship and your partner wants you to do something, of course, they can just ask you nicely, or they can try to manipulate your feelings in some sort of way. They could be very direct with it and say, if you don't do this, I'm going to break up with you. That's a very direct way of, it's like, oh, I don't want to lose this person. So they fall for the trick that they're playing on you. Not that they ever had any intention of breaking up with you. Or they could do some other tactics that really make you feel bad for them. They could, cry at inappropriate opportunities. Usually, it's going to be more women who do this type of psychological manipulation as opposed to the men. But that's not to say that men can't do it as well. Certainly they can. It's just different. A man sitting here crying about, this sort of stuff is really not going to work as much as a woman who's going to cry about something, who's going to try to manipulate her, significant other. So there's a lot of manipulation that can happen in relationships as well, and you may not even realize that you're being manipulated. That is the thing. Some people are so good at it, at puppeteering you, that you may not even be aware. But once you do become aware, you can become very angry, you can become very hostile, you can become very annoyed that this sort of thing is happening. Because all this time, maybe you thought that it was just a way that this person was behaving for whatever reason, and that you didn't realize that they were manipulating you all this time. So it's a very problematic thing, for sure, in relationships. These guys never manipulate. I will manipulate you into sniffing my feet. So, see these feet right here? You're missing out on the super stinky stench of my feet that you can get only on onlyfeet.sniff, okay? And there's a limited sale going on for the next 15 minutes if you sign up for OnlyFeet. So normally it costs like $1 million a second. We're going to lower that down to $999,999.99 a second. Okay, so you're going to save a whole penny a second. So jump in now. Boys, no one wants to pay that amount of money. $1 million a second to sniff your feet. I tell you. Types of craziness that we do here. Ryan says, I've been gaslighted way too much by my girlfriend. There we go. Look, so some of the stuff that we're talking about here, it may sound very familiar with what the girlfriend does. Types of tactics, the type of manipulation that they do, that they could be the marionette and you're the puppet. And maybe early on in the relationship, you didn't even realize that they were manipulating you. But now you realize, yeah, they're certainly manipulating you. So I had a girlfriend who refused to delete the person courting her, but she tried like We don't use foul language like that, boy. To manipulate me into deleting a woman. She didn't like immature goofballs. Yeah, see? So it's that type of a manipulation there that you're describing. That is also like they're allowed to do this, but no one else is allowed to do that. You know, it kind of reminds me a lot of these ridiculous politicians back in, well, all the time, but especially they showed themselves in 2020. I mean, like, lock everything down, you can't be with your friends and family, while secretly they're over here having orgies and making out with people in elevators and doing all this crazy party stuff and going to restaurants, not wearing masks and going into hair salons and all that other stuff. And it's like, okay. So you can tell other people what to do, type of manipulative tactics. Oh, be so afraid, be so fearful. And then once the cameras go off, look at these stupid idiots believing all that nonsense as they go and do their own thing, who defying all of the rules that they just said. So it's like, okay. So yeah, narcissistic psychological manipulators, gaslighters, they all are. So hopefully people realize that. A lot of people still believe them. Oh. Definitely realize it now. When I call her out on it, I'm called a narcissist. So that is what we call, Ryan, a projection of self. They are projecting how they feel, how they are to themselves. So whenever they call you a narcissist, they're basically just calling themselves a narcissist, because that is what they are. They are the narcissist. They're basically, they want to project how they feel about themselves onto you. But you are the mirror, and you can show them their true form. No, I'm not the narcissist. You're the narcissist. I'm a rat-assist. Boy. I had a friend try to manipulate me into unfriending someone they didn't like. I refused because I support everyone, no matter who they dislike. And that's the way you would do it. That's the way you do it, absolutely. Yeah, if someone is going to try to control your own actions, then you have to put your foot down and say, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. So, good for you for standing your ground and not caving. You know, it's a horrible thing when that happens, but see, if someone asked me to like stop being friends with this person because, you know, it's hurting our relationship and whatever, it's like, I'll do whatever I want, sir, madam, whoever you are. They, them. Sorry. I want to do whatever. See, I lost a few people on my friends list because someone kept getting stream sniped, even though I had nothing to do with it. What is stream snipe? That sounds familiar, that term. Is that like, it has something to do with like gaming stuff, right? Something along those lines. That's what it sounded like. Or that's the term that I'm thinking of, at least. I don't play games like that. I believe in 50-50 equality all the way. But if you won't delete someone who's caused issues with your relationship, then that's on you. Exactly. Exactly. So, folks, I would tell you how I deal with psychological manipulators. You have to understand a lot of their tactics that they used. So we talk a little bit about salespeople. Salespeople are very skilled at the art of manipulation in order to get you to buy something, in order to make you feel as though you are the bad guy if you say no to them or disagree with them. They could be such this nice person, but they use these types of tactics to manipulate you. I think it's very important, if you're going to deal with any sort of psychological manipulation, is to become aware that you're being manipulated. What sort of tactics are people using to control the way that you feel about them and yourself and about other people? You really have to think about that. If your mindset starts to change because you're talking with them and they're making you feel different about someone else or trying to make you think a certain way, you really have to question, what is their motive for that? Do they want me to hate this person more so you like them better? Even though deep down you would know that they are a very, very bad person and they manipulate other people and they're very mean and angry and rude and hateful. And they want you to like them better because they're playing the good guy. They want to be the good person. So they manipulate you into thinking everyone else is bad, but they're the ones that are good. Is it the type of sales tactics that people use to, here's this nice sales representative, they're going to sell you some things to make you prey on your fear of missing out. Psychological mindset. Here's the sale, it's running out quickly. You know, it's very interesting. Like, even when you look at like online, like Amazon sales, for example, you could say, oh look, it's 50, this item is 50% off and it's going to be over in like an hour, and you quickly buy it. But if you look at the price history, it's actually been lower before. The price has been lower before, and you actually got it at a slightly higher price than it was at its lowest point. And it's like, I got fooled. I saw this 50% off deal, and it's like, time's running out. There's only a few left in stock. You only have an hour left. You better quickly hurry up and buy it. Quickly hurry up and buy it. Bought it, and then you realize. So there's so many tactics that are used to prey on your mind. And your mind can work against you in so many ways. But it's just about being mindful of it. It really is. Now, what is our theme for this coming week? We're approaching the last month. Let's draw our one card and see what the theme is for this week. I believe this was the card we got last week. These are lovers here. Is that allowed on YouTube? I don't know, but that's how we should have been this past week, getting along together with family and friends. Not necessarily, you know, in that way, in that depiction. I mean, but maybe if that's you know, you anyway, let me draw a card for this coming week now, shall we? Let's see what we end up getting. What's the theme for this week, or things to be mindful of? How the heck did we get this again? we just got the same one. We just got the same one. Okay. So the theme of the week again is about loving your family and friends. There it is. The lovers. Let's see what the meaning is here. The lovers. This is the second time in a row we got this card. It happened one other time. There were two cards that we got in a row. Harmony, trust, romance, optimism, honor, and love. So be optimistic. Have a harmonious time with your family and your friends. Get along. And if you have a significant other, there you go. You can do that sort of stuff with them. If you are so inclined to do with that. Anyway, that's the theme. Just getting along together. Maybe there's a lot of chaos. And honestly, I think that makes a lot of sense that we got that card for Thanksgiving week and the week after, because as we talked about, there's a lot of people who are very distant from family and friends for, just hating one another for political reasons. That is certainly the biggest thing. So don't let them control you. And just be your happy self and get along with other people. Put your differences aside. Isn't that right, Ristas? That's right. So the overall theme is harmony. Getting along with one another. Putting your differences aside and just not paying so much attention to what makes you different. People like to clash about everything and anything they possibly can. So just put it aside. Just put it aside. I just remembered something very funny I would like to show you here. Let me show you. It's some very interesting, funny stuff that is happening here. So, we have these squirrels out back that love pumpkins. Here's the pumpkin. They start digging into it, as you can see. A few hours later, this is what the pumpkin looked like. They dug into it, started eating a bunch of seeds in it. uh, let me find another good image here. Here he is. Here he is, digging into it, eating that pumpkin away. I have a little video too somewhere here. Oh, here's a squirrel down here looking up, but the other one's like, no, you're not getting it. Territorial. Okay, here's a bit of the video here. Digging in, and then he eats it. So that was just a cool little funny thing to show you there at the end. Oh yeah, let me tell you this. After it was like digging in and it made all that mess, I took it out to the backyard. That squirrel was on it for hours after I put it out there, and it was out there today for many, many, many hours of the day. There was a gap of time that there were no squirrels, but it goes inside of it, takes the seeds out, it'll sit on top of it and just eat the seeds, and it's very territorial, so if another squirrel approaches, it'll usually, you know, chase it away. But then there was another squirrel that ended up chasing it away, so we call the one, it's like really big and fat, we call him the Pumpkin King, and then the other one who likes to eat a little bit, we call it the Pumpkin Queen. So we got the Pumpkin King and Queen eating the pumpkin. So they are just crazy. They're absolutely crazy. Crazy. So it looks worse now. That image that I showed you of it opened up, it's even worse. That hole was much bigger because they eat the flesh too. So they're like going into it and just eating it all. They will eat it all in a matter of days. It's absolutely insane. So that was all. That was all. I just wanted to show you. I just thought that was just funny. So anyway, folks. Anyone have any exciting plans for the month of December here as we're entering into the first month? I mean, the last month, the first week of the last month, rather. So, nothing too crazy this next week for the most part, but, you know, things usually settle down around this time, you know, because it is like the end of the year, holidays, people taking vacations, things kind of slow down. So, working on a comprehensive Wendigo video for my channel. It's going to be hours long. Oh my gosh, Ryan. That's a lot of work. But I wish you much success with that. I do. So I'm going to wish you all a fantastic week ahead as well. And I look forward to seeing you again next Sunday. Same time, same day, same channel, and same rats. Deja. Bye, boys and ladies. Bye, boys and ladies. Although, you know, you just missed the sale. The sale ended 1 penny off a second. Did you? Boys, no one wants to buy your foot fetish videos. Okay, so you take care. Have a great one. Bye bye.